So I'm actually down here in Annapolis downtown at nighttime, in a harbor down here. This is actually known as Ego Alley. Um, this is where all the rich people bring their boats down to show off how rich they are. But it's actually really quiet here Wednesday night. We're supposed to get rain for like the next 7 days straight. So I figured I'd come down here and try to vlog a little bit. I was gonna ride the motorcycle down, but I forgot to put my battery tender on the motorcycle. So my battery's dead. And even though I plugged it in, 8 hours ago, it's just not ready to go yet. So I decided to drive down here instead. It's one of my days off. I was gonna come down here and vlog for a little bit, and I ran into this kid, very young kid, probably teenager, mid-teens, something like that, and he's flying his DJI Air 3. So I actually brought my Air 3S with me, and I flew drones with him for a little bit. I ran into a couple of issues that I got to figure out, but really, really nice kid. And I'm trying to network with more people and find people that have the same kind of hobbies and things like that. And he asked if he could fly with me sometime, and I said sure, absolutely. I gave him my number, and he liked my pieces that I have on my drone for my strobes for flying at nighttime. I have my Part 107, so I can actually fly at nighttime. So I exchanged info with him, and I gave him the stuff to order for the attachments for the strobes. I'm sure I'll show you this on the channel at some point. So I spent a little bit today going through DaVinci Resolve, trying to really kind of deep dive into how to edit. I found some really great tutorials, but it takes a really long time to do all this. And being ADHD, my focus has been a little bit all over the place this week. But I posted up that first vlog. I doubt anybody watched it, and that's okay. But even from that experience, I learned a lot. I learned a lot about talking to the camera. I still have so much more to learn. I've watched some really good videos that are talking about trying to do like a 30-day challenge where I vlog every single day. And I think I'm going to do that. I don't know that I can start it right away today, but I'm going to try to set something up to actually do that, because I want to get more comfortable talking on camera and just getting better at the creative process and the editing process and things like that. I found it was a little clunky kind of editing on my iPad because I don't know the software yet. So I think I'm going to stick to just use my computer for now. And I'll figure out more portability a little bit later on. It's going to take me a while. It's going to take me a while to get this up and running. I also noticed when I went through the vlog, and I didn't rewatch everything, but I remember, I just kind of rambled on about a whole bunch of different things inside of there. But that's part of the learning process, is trying to figure out, how to talk to the camera, which I don't know how to do yet. Things that you should actually talk about, make it a little bit interesting. There's a lot of guys that I'm following right now that are just getting into, the personal vlog space, that are, give me some really good hints, like not saying all the time that I'm doing on the microphone right now. So I'm going to try to work on that a little bit, see if I can actually edit some of these out. One of the things I realized I should probably do is turn off the front-facing screen on the camera. Once I have my frame up and I know what I'm doing, I should go ahead and turn off that front-facing camera, because I have a tendency right now, at least, to look at how I'm framed up in the camera itself. And the fact is, if I'm sitting in front of the camera, I'm framed perfectly fine. So, but it's very normal to just sit there and stare at the screen and see if you're in there. And so I'm trying to make sure that I'm not doing that. So right now I do have the screen off. I'm sure I'm framed in there properly. I saw it, I had it on for the first 30 seconds. But right now I'm just trying to get used to talking to the camera, getting used to doing some of this editing. I am going to go ahead and upload this tomorrow. I have to work tomorrow, but I'm going to see if I can get a little bit more DaVinci training in after the gym before I go into work. And I'm going to try to make a schedule here for daily vlogging. I want to get a little bit more into the DaVinci Resolve, where I'm actually doing the editing, just so I understand how to cut and do things like that. I realize the more and more I do it, the better I'm going to get at it, which is also the reason why I want to do the 30 days of vlogging, where I can just do that, whether it's 3 minutes or 15 minutes. I think it would be really beneficial for me to get used to that editing, and then I can start slowly doing things like adding titles and color grading, and I'll just get better at things that I'm gonna actually talk about. So it's a little frustrating. It's taken me this long to really get started with stuff. I still don't know what I'm doing, and that's okay, but it's still really frustrating for me because I'm a bit of a perfectionist, and I want that end result, and I want that end result now, and that's just not how it works. So I've got to put in the reps, like everybody keeps saying, like put in the reps. So yeah, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to keep putting in the reps. I'm going to see if I can come up with some ideas here for being a little bit more explicit on what I want to do in this creative space. But right now I'm just trying to get used to the process and get used to talking to the camera, editing, learning how to use my camera before I even get into all the other stuff. So I'm not going to get into any of the drone stuff or any of my other cameras for now until I can kind of master what I'm doing on this thing here. That's about it. So, all right, that's it. Vlog number 2. Peace.